Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the latest on trade development between Arizona and Mexico. Also tonight, we'll learn about an upcoming summit on the life cycle of innovation. And a local author discusses the virtues of writing. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Liquid water has been found on Mars. A new study released today found that water flows during warm months on the planet and then recedes when Mars cools down. The study involved a camera operated by the University of Arizona and was led by a U of A student who is now at Georgia Institute of Technology. Scientists still aren't sure where the water is coming from. Likely sources include a local aquifer or melting ice or perhaps some other point of origin. The 11th Annual International State of the State will be held October 5th by the Phoenix Committee on Foreign Relations. The event looks to build on the themes of economic and political engagement between Arizona and the world. Here now to talk about trade issues between Arizona and Mexico are Mexican Consul General Roberto Rodriguez Hernandez and Eduardo Gonzalez Diaz de Leon, Deputy Trade and Investment Commissioner for ProMexico, the new Mexican trade office in Phoenix. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The state of trade between Arizona and Mexico, where are we now?
Well, it has been increased still lately, and especially because we do have a new atmosphere, a better relationship with the administration. Obviously, the Ducey administration have been working very hard in order to enhance the relationship with Mexico. By far, we are the main trade partner with Arizona. We have an interchange of more than almost 15 billion of dollars in products.
Is it a change in policy, a change in tone, a little bit of both? What change is working out the best?
Well, we do not have any kind of rejection regarding any issue. We are working in different fields, but especially on the economic area as well as on education and cultural ties. We are working hard on that.
As far as ProMexico now, what is ProMexico?
Well, ProMexico is the Mexican government agency that promotes international business. We are a government institution with our head secretary is this Ministry of Economy. And we have, around the world, we have about 50 offices. In North America, we have 17 offices, and this is the newest one in North America.
How important to have an office in Arizona?
Well, as the consulate was mentioning, trade, business, climate changing. We think it's a good moment to start developing that business interest in both sides of the border, also in the states and in the cities. So we think strategically Phoenix and Arizona in general provides a great location to do business in Mexico and to Mexican products.
The symbolism of opening an office in Arizona, talk to us about that.
Well, we want more trade, we want a better relationship, and especially because different kind of institutions have been working hard on that, like the Chamber of Commerce of Phoenix, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, especially the important work of the Phoenix Committee on Foreign Relations. Mm-hmm. They are working hard in order to try to restore the relationship that seems to me was broken because the last administration was very noisy about immigration.
Noisy is an interesting way of putting it. Evidence of putting economics ahead of politics, is that what you're seeing right now?
Well, I see different kind of actions that has been taken in the proper direction. That's what I see.
And again, do you see, first of all, I want to go back to what you said earlier. It sounds like there have been a number of these offices opened around the country, and we're just now getting one in Arizona. What took so long?
Well, we are a small organization that tries to cover a whole big area. So before, the office in LA used to be in charge of Nevada, of Arizona, Utah. So it was a huge area for that. This office was too far away. So right now, we think that is the right moment to open a new office here in Phoenix.
As far as trade and investment are concerned, what needs improvement? What can be helped here? What are you focusing on?
Well, the main sectors that we are focusing on is aerospace, advanced manufacturing, anything related to medical device manufacturing, and also the ecosystem of innovation. I think it's pretty interesting here in Arizona. How can we help increase that ecosystem? How can we be a partner to those people coming with these new ideas?
And as far as investment, again, and trade, areas that are doing well, areas that could need some help.
Of course, but at the end of the road, we are going to see a lot of jobs, either way, for Mexicans and for Mexican Americans and for the American people here in the United States and Mexico, because the whole region is going to be beneficiated for this.
So, but I'm trying to figure out what kind of trade has worked well in the past and you want to continue and grow, and maybe, I guess, bioscience and medical and these, aerospace, other things that you think might need a little bit of a boost.
Well, we need to create a human capital. We need to create a center for training different people, either way, from Mexico and from the United States, in order to be ready to participate in the new investments.
So, how will you know that kind of an easing of tensions, new administration, new tone, new outlook on this side of the border equates to better trade on both sides of the border?
Well, obviously, it's going to be create more opportunities for the economy, more opportunities for the people of Arizona, and I hope that the population can see the annual state of the state from Governor Ducey. He's going to be very clear about the need to reinforce, to re-enhance the relationship with Mexico and with Canada.
And as far as Pro-Mexico is concerned, office opens when?
We are planning to open the office around the end of October, first week of November.
And for those of us who aren't involved in the office and are kind of looking from the outside, how do we know things really are better? What are the signs?
Well, for once, the governor was in Mexico a few months ago with leading a trade delegation into Mexico. Next week, there's going to be another trade delegation to Mexico from city mayors. So I think that's a very good sign that the relationships are getting better.
All right.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, good to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate it.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Technology and Innovation looks at the Innovation Arizona Summit, which explores how to get high-tech ideas to market. Arizona SciTech and the state's Commerce Authority will host the event. Joining us now is Jeremy Babinjour, Executive Director of Arizona SciTech Festival. Good to see you again.
Great, thanks for having me here.
The Innovation Arizona Summit, what is that?
So this is really a unique opportunity that Arizona SciTech and Arizona Commerce Authority have teamed up, which really pulls together the whole kind of cycle of innovation from the workforce, anywhere from students to teachers to communities to businesses, to really pull together pathways of what's going on in the community.
So when we're talking life cycle of innovation, you're talking from the light bulb going on over the head to getting that thing on a shelf somewhere.
Right, and we have some really unique sessions that pull it together. So for example, one of them is on cybersecurity. So we have students that are at ASU doing research, to Jamie Witherton, who's actually part of SDI initiative to really help do the research on technology, to the Mesa cyber warfare range, where they're actually utilizing it in the business and innovation community. And so we have people doing short talks and segments to pull it all together from student all the way to the workforce.
And these are sessions and exhibits together?
Right, so we have sessions, there's 20 different sessions, so we have things like Manufacturing Month as a kickoff, we got Materials Science, we have an Arizona's Got STEM Talent session, to ways where people can network and really learn from each other about even planning events. But we also have over 50 exhibitors that are going to be coming. So for example, we have a whole space on making. And so we have about 10 different facilities that are really high-level maker facilities, like anywhere from Arizona Science Center to Axosoft to the Mach 1 facility are going to be setting up activities for people to actually make something on site.
Interesting.
Actual experience making.
I was going to say, you may have a great idea, but in order to get that thing to market or get it commercialization or wherever it's going to wind up, you have to make the thing first, don't you?
Right. And so there's a lot of facilities in Arizona, like Tech Shop, you might be one of them, where people can actually make something, pilot it out. So we have a lot of the people that are in that space at the summit as well.
And so you have business, industry, education, government, NGOs, and more?
Yes. So basically, I mean, one thing that's really cool is we've actually had students part of it too. So we have, last year we had about 100 middle and high school students even attend to really get them inspired, but we also had people that were entrepreneurs, basically the whole continuum of our business ecosystem is there.
So who exactly is this event targeting?
I would say it's all different levels of it. And so if you're a teacher and you're really wondering where future businesses are going, what you want to train your students, that would be something. If you're a business and trying to really connect with educators, that's something. If you're trying to get more inspiration on business and innovation, that's an audience. And so it really is, I think the unique nature is it pulls a lot of these audiences that typically would be in isolated conferences together.
I was going to say, we just had the Phoenix Consul General here and basically saying things like aerospace, technology. Mexico is looking for trade partners in those areas and seeing Arizona as a player. Are we becoming a player?
I mean, from a lot of the pathways that we have, like cybersecurity, for example, one of them, we already are a player. There's a lot of, amazing facilities that we have where we're really emerging out front. Aerospace is another one, obviously, that you mentioned, but Arizona is emerging as a tech giant, aerospace and defense giant.
And again, targeting everyone from tinkerer to someone pretty much farther along the line. Before this kind of an event, where did these folks go? What did they do?
I mean, I guess I don't really know for sure. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities that places like Arizona Commerce Authority has that provide business resources for entrepreneurs. And so there are places in Arizona like that where people went, but I think having the synergy to pull them together is a unique opportunity.
And how do you define, obviously diverse collaborators here, they're all getting together under one big tent, if you will. How do you decide who to invite?
I mean, the way that we went about it was looking at like the pathway segments. So if you take something like manufacturing, Manufacturing Month is kicking off in October. We get the summit to be the opportunity to do that. Then it's like, well, making is part of manufacturing. You might get a company like P80T, which is doing analysis, and it might be getting the makers to come in. And so I love building it around kind of the content segments and seeing who populates this sector. So material science, it could be getting the research professors that are really doing, the cutting edge research to where you might get an aerospace company to talk about how they're utilizing that material in their business today.
Right. Okay, so where is this event going to be?
It's going to be at the Scottsdale Center for the Arts. So we have likely 700 attendees have already RSVP'd.
Yes.
And so it's a great facility where you can bring everybody together into big rooms, but you can also break it out.
And what are the dates? What are we looking at?
It's on
here?
October 1st, so it's this Thursday.
So it's really just one day, huh? So get down there that day or else you miss the boat.
Pretty much, yeah. So people can register on site. If they want to go, they can go online at azscitech.org to also find it.
Okay, one more time with that website.
So azscitech, azscitech.org.
And that's where they can register, also get more information on what's going on.
They can link to the registration page off there on our front page.
All right. Very good, Jeremy. Good luck with the event, and good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Author Melissa Pritchard is sharing her passion for writing in a new book of essays. It celebrates the power of language. The book is titled A Solemn Pleasure to Imagine, Witness, and Write, and covers everything from storytelling to reports from Afghanistan. We welcome Melissa Pritchard to Arizona Horizon. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the book. Who did you write the book for?
Well, actually, these essays, there are 15 of them in the book, and I collected them. I mean, I wrote them over a number of years. So my publisher had this idea that she wanted to launch a Art of the Essay series with her fiction writers, and she asked me about my essays, and I gathered them all together.
Now I know that you're better known, I think, as a fiction writer as opposed to nonfiction.
Yeah.
Talk about the difference between the two.
Well, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking in some ways both require a degree of anonymity in the process. Like when you're a journalist, you have to efface yourself to some degree to listen, to pay attention, to be empathetic. And when I write fiction, it's the same thing. There's a kind of self-erasure of the personality so that I can hear the story. So both require imagination, listening, and a kind of emotional courage.
Yeah.
So they share that.
I know in the book you write about the concept of sacred anonymity to all artists, really. Is that what you're talking about here?
That is somewhat what I talk about. It's a place where I go when I'm creating, when I'm writing either fiction or nonfiction. When I've pulled all the work together and then I start to do the writing, the research or whatever, I have to let go of my ordinary personality, and it requires a great deal of listening, kind of deep listening, for the story to tell itself.
You also mentioned the writer William Trevor, the great short story writer, that artists, you quote, artists belong outside, on the edge, looking in.
Right, we're the peripherals. Well, that's how I feel. I feel if I'm the life of a party, I'm not exactly going to be observing anything. I will be the life of the party. I'll be the subject. But writers tend to haunt the fringes because that's the best place to observe.
What about, you also write that suffering and compassion, both very important to artists. Talk to us about that.
I think you have to have an ability to go outside yourself. Empathy is so important. Literature evokes empathy, and also to be a writer, you have to enter into the being of another, whether it's an imagined other or a real, someone you really interview somewhere in the world.
When you write fiction, let's stick with fiction for just a second here, because I'm more familiar with your work there, although the essays here are fantastic. I mean, it's great reading. But when you get into you've created someone pretty much from whole cloth, or close to it. How do you get empathy for that person that you are still kind of learning about as you write?
It's a very strange thing that happens, and every time it happens, like, oh my God, it's happening again. It's a kind of going from, you're outside the character, you've created the character that you're writing about, maybe you have a lot of notes, maybe they're based on someone, maybe it's based on someone real, maybe completely imagined, but at some point in the writing, this magical thing happens where that person, that character is given life. You feel they're very real. It's hard to talk about, but then you know you're on the right track with writing their story.
And I always ask writers this, and I always get the same answer. Do the characters ever surprise you?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
all the time.
They always say that.
I think, oh really, you do that? And now you're going to go here? Okay, and then you're out. I was kind of like a sleuth following them around.
The impact of, the book itself, obviously essays, and your fiction covers a wide angle as well, but living in the desert Southwest, what kind of impact does that have on all of your writing?
Living in the desert, oh, that's such a question. No one's ever asked me that. I think it drives me inward. I don't really, well, I'm from California and I prefer Mediterranean sort of climate, so this is a shock to me, and still is after I've been here so many years. But it's interesting. It's an extreme. It can be an extreme climate, and I like it because then it drives me inward to work in, and then I travel a lot.
And, well, obviously you travel quite a bit, yeah. But yeah. You mentioned being from California. You mentioned the problem with finding a voice early on because you really didn't have. You weren't from the South, and you didn't have any really regional ID, did you?
I grew up in a upper middle class suburb, and I mowed the lawn on Saturdays and did chores, and I thought I had no interesting life at all. And then one day I realized, and I always heard when I would read about being a writer, you had to have a voice, you know, you had to come from somewhere, you had to have some sort of, and I thought, well, I don't have one. So my first stories, I always thought I was kind of an imposter. a bit of a fraud. I thought, well, I'm just making this stuff up and I don't know. And then I realized that a lot of my stories were about an ordinary person like myself who goes into an extraordinary situation and with a certain amount of naivete.
Was it Flannery O'Connor who said she basically learned everything she needed to write by the time she was out of high school or something along those lines?
About 18, yeah. And I think that's true. I mean, you can always, there's so much you can draw on. You're your own best laboratory as a writer in terms of psychology and emotional reality, veracity. I think you just, it's kind of a humbling process being a writer if you really do it, because you have to be truthful, even about yourself, with yourself. And I find it kind of hilarious because we all want to think we're our best selves, but you know, we're all flawed in some ways, or certainly I am. And so you have to, in order to write truly about people, especially imagined people, or hybrid people, part researched, part imagined, you have to have a sort of emotional truth, and that has to be in you as well.
Well, you mentioned emotional truth, and in the book, I mean, you included the cost of your mother's funeral service, and you also wrote a number of pages about your little dachshund, Mr. S, I believe his name was.
Yes.
Talk to us about why you included those essays.
Well, my publisher actually included them.
Sure,
There were about 22 that I had, and she read them all, and she chose 15. And she had good reasons for leaving out the others, most of which they were redundant or too similar. But Simon, Mr. S is really Simon.
Okay.
I never intended to publish that. I just thought, I want to write a Valentine to my dog before he dies. He's still well, he's 11, and he's probably going to be around a long time. But I suddenly was aware he might die one day, and I thought, I have to write about him. So I wrote this whole Valentine to him, and then I sent it out, and all these people wanted to publish it, like 3 or 4 at once. I had to choose, and I was shocked and delighted. And then the piece about my mother, I was asked by an editor to write. He was doing an issue in his magazine on death, and he said, do you have anything, can you give us something? And I said, well, my mother just died and I can't write about it.
Sure.
I'm just too close.
Sure.
It's too. And he said, well, see if you come up with something. And I was staying at a castle in Scotland, a writing residency, and toward the last 2 weeks of the residency, it all came to me, that essay I almost heard it.
Yeah. Something interesting in the essay, you mentioned that in death the spirit becomes light. I thought that was interesting. Talk about that.
Well, I think everything is, for me, the personal is political, the political is personal, and both are spiritual, for me.
Right.
And I always think, a friend of mine said, when my mother passed away, he said, oh, she's turning to light.
Yes.
And that just struck me so deeply as true. Some things are difficult to articulate beyond the fact that they seem true. And so I just felt that when I wrote the piece, that she had turned to light. And that we all do. Yeah,
it was very interesting, and it's a unique way of looking at it, so I wanted to ask you about that. You also talk about the unexplainable, and a voice was literally telling you, a voice told you to pay for a Sudanese man's education, which you did, and it wound up with a remarkable relationship.
Yes, William. I knew him. I heard that he wasn't doing well in the sense that he'd had to drop out of school. And he was working as a night security guard somewhere in Phoenix, having PTSD because he'd been a child slave. And I felt badly about it when I heard that, but then I was awakened in the middle of the night by, I mean, it sounds biblical. It was like a voice saying, you have to put William through school, and it was a voice I couldn't ignore or deny. And it wasn't my voice. I still don't quite understand it, but I called William the next day and said, when does school start? And he knew exactly the date. I said, well, go get your books.
Wow.
And go sign up for your classes. And he's currently in Africa working for UNICEF. He's had a remarkable life since then.
Well, that's a remarkable, there are a number of remarkable stories in here. Congratulations again. It's a fascinating book, and continued success. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
ASU's Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering strive to advance research, education, and industry to transform our economy. Ideas, talent, and technology for Arizona. You can learn more at engineering.asu.edu/TV.